Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday follow-up in that continuing journey of accountability. Today, I want to talk a little bit about several things. And the first thing is that I've been saying that tagline as we do the introduction to these Friday morning chats, that continuing journey of accountability. And it is a journey. And what we know in TOPS is that the whole process of support and accountability and how we want to get that healthier lifestyle is a total change in our lifestyle. It's just not something that you do once a week or when you feel like it. It's we have to turn everything around. And, when you listen to some of our competitors, they tend to focus on just maybe one or two things, and that's what they're selling. One of them kind of helps us out with our portion controls because they literally send you the food all prepared to you. But again, there's nobody there to support you to say, don't eat the whole box in 1 week. Or, that's fine to have those portions sent to you, but how do you handle when you're out at a party that's dealing with a buffet, or when you go to a restaurant? You can't bring that food with you. So that's what we mean about it's a total lifestyle change where you have to, it kind of like just sinks into everything that we do. Then I got to thinking, that's probably now how I look at everything in my life. I look at it through the prism of TOPS, where are we going to do something sensibly, and how am I going to hold things accountable in anything I do? I tend to use that when I'm at my meetings for the school board, or how I interact with family members, or when I'm doing work. It's just that, I need help. I want to be sensible, and I have to be accountable for the end product or the whatever we're trying to accomplish. And it occurred to me last week when I was driving. Ann and I took a kind of a working vacation last week. We went to a country music concert, and I'm driving along, and I've got my Waze app on my phone to let me know if there's any construction or bad traffic. And the next thing I know, I hear police ahead. And what was the first thing I did when I heard police ahead? I immediately took my foot off the gas pedal. I slowed down. Now, apparently I was speeding. I was going 82 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. Now, if there are any TOPS members out there who are in law enforcement, first, let me thank you for your service. And two, I'm not admitting any guilt here. So, but it occurred to me like, okay, it's okay to speed as long as there's no police up ahead. And then I thought, wow, is that what I'm doing when I realize that I'm not going to be going to a meeting? Do I tend to kind of go off my plan because, well, I'm not weighing in this week, so I'm not being held accountable? So I'm going to slow down if there's a police officer ahead, but I'm going to zip right through the road if they're not. It's still not right. I'm still technically breaking the law. And it's not right in my eating plan either if I just say, well, I'm weighing in this week, I got to pay attention, or I'm not weighing in because I've got another meeting or a commitment, or there's a snowstorm or bad weather or whatever that you're not able to meet. And I'm thinking, wow, I am looking at everything through the prism of TOPS. And it just kind of, you wonder why we feel this way on that. When nobody's watching, we can try to get away with something, and we really can't do that. And I kind of chuckled as I was slowing down. And I noticed that every now and then I kind of sped up again and heard police ahead, and I would slow up. So how am I going to get that control or being hold accountable when I'm not able to attend a meeting? And this is what's happening. As you all know, I've been struggling a lot over the past few weeks. And just by happenstance, we were traveling. And then last night I had a school board meeting. I knew in my head that I wasn't going to have an official weigh-in at chapter. Well, since accountability is a cornerstone of what we need to do, I have to remember, and I suggest that we all need to remember, that we have other ways to keep ourselves accountable. Now, I have my scale at home, and I knew, without officially going to chapter, I know I've gained a couple of pounds, probably 3 pounds. I've got to be honest, 3 pounds over the past couple of weeks. How do I know that? Did I need a weigh-in at my chapter to tell me that? That's only 1 hour a week. I knew I was gaining from the scale. And then if I'm on traveling on the road, I don't have my scale with me, but I also know that my belt felt a little bit tighter, or a shirt that I brought to wear to the concert didn't fit as comfortable as I thought. That's how we can keep ourselves accountable, or how I keep myself accountable when I know that I'm not going to be weighing in that week. So, when we say it's a lifestyle change, it really is. You just don't focus on one thing. You have to have all these things available to you, because we're not at a meeting 24/7. We have to set up these guardrails for us when we're away from our chapter meeting. And that's where the support of our TOPS members comes into play, or working with a friend or a family member to help you keep on track. So again, yes, I'm struggling. I'm actually at a higher point this week than I was at the beginning of the year. And, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not gonna let it beat me down, because I also remembered something that Dr. Nick had shared with us on one of our chats last year. During this 2-week being away from chapter, I had my annual physical, and all my lab work is fine. My A1C is perfect. Everything is great. Your blood pressure is under control. Still having a little trouble with fluid retention, but that's just, hey, you can't be perfect, But the doctor said, you're doing pretty good for a 65-year-old guy, And I said, yeah, but I'd like to feel 45 again. And he goes, that's not going to happen, Rick. But the fact that you are watching what you're doing, that you changed your lifestyle, is going to pay dividends down the road. So we all have to figure out what's our limit. We have to figure out that even though nobody's watching, we have to pay attention to what we're doing. And that's how I look at things through TOPS. I've said this before, folks. I've been with TOPS for 20 years. And I now vaguely remember what my life was before TOPS. And I have to say that this last 20 years was much better than the time that before I found TOPS. And to be totally honest, if I hadn't found TOPS, who knows what would have happened. I knew I wouldn't be talking to you like this. I might not be enjoying life for whatever reason, because of bad health and stuff like that. It's a life change, folks. It's going to save our lives. And I'll see you next week.